Welcome back to Witchcrafting with Beth at Spiral Path Arts. Today I'm going to show you a really simple and fairly inexpensive way to make your own divination tools. And today's divination tools that I'm going to show you how to make are a set of Ogham tiles. And Ogham is the Celtic tree alphabet, and it's also can be used for divination. So these are what we're making out of little bits of wood chips, different sizes, and we'll get to that when we get to the DIY part of the video. But let's talk just briefly about the Celtic tree oracle or Celtic tree alphabet, the Ogham, O-G-H-A-M. If you're really interested in knowing more about it, there's lots of resources out there on the web and in books and other videos and things. This book, which is the Celtic Tree Magic, Ogham Lore and Druid Mysteries by Danu Forrest. I have been really enjoying her books. This is the second one I'm reading cover to cover, and then I bought a third one, which I'll have to talk about another time. Anyway, this book covers all each tree in the alphabet and its lore, its uses medicinally, magically. I can't even begin of all the information that's in this book, and like I said, this is my bookmark, so I'm at the halfway point, and there is more magic and information on how to read Ogham and do sample readings and things in the back, which I haven't even gotten to yet. So more on that, I guess, when I get caught up there. This deck I have had for a while, and there's a couple different Celtic Tree Oracle decks out there that I've seen on the market. So this is the one I have. It's the Celtic Tree Oracle, and this one is by Charlene Hidalgo and illustrated by Jimmy Manton. It comes with its own guidebook. So, I mean, it's not a super thick guidebook. Again, if you really want to dig in, the Danu Forrest book is the way to go. But it does give reversed readings, other information. I mean, it's a nice, concise little guide. I don't hate it. It's got a pretty Celtic knot on the back, and it that goes either way. So if you are one to read reversed cards, you're not gonna you'll be able to do that. This is a deck that I will probably eventually trim and do some around the corners because it's a little bigger and there's just a lot of wasted space around the edges. But it's a very pretty card, a pretty deck. You see, like this one of the U is a very evocative image, and it's one way to read Ogham. But I, of course, can't leave well enough alone and have to make something. So we're going to switch camera views, and I'm going to show you how I started to make a set of little Ogham tiles that I can put in one of my drawstring bags, one of my Hecate bags, and have a set that I can carry with me easily, and because they're wooden, they just have a little different tactile sense than a deck of cards. So we'll move to the other camera now. So this is just a basic craft wood burning tool. I've been experimenting and playing with. I have just the basic straight edge tip on here. It does have an adjustable heat, but this is still a pretty basic model. It came in this kit with other tips, but this one I have found works the best for this job because I want nice straight edges. Straight lines, I should say. Now, I began my experiment with this little bag of random wood chips, and there's random sizes. There's these itty bitty little fingernail size, well, a little bigger fingernails, ones, up to, these are kind of the ones I was really liking. They're just, you can see how kind of big they are. And then there's a little larger size in there as well. I don't think I have any pulled out of the larger ones. You can kind of see down here in the corner. They were just in the woodworking or wood section of craft store. They're great for practicing. They're great for really inexpensive and quick and easy Ogham sets. The drawback I found to them is that not all of them are real particularly smooth, and you know, some of them have some splinters and things, and I haven't taken the time to sand them all down and finish them really nicely. Easily could be done, just haven't done it yet. So so some of them, like, you know, this one is really rough. Some of them aren't exactly perfectly rectangle, that kind of thing. You get what you pay for. I think the whole bag cost me like $3.99 or less for 100 pieces. Of course, I don't know. It might be fun to practice really small and make a really small set of Oghams. That would be kind of cool. Haven't done it yet. So this is my first set. I think it's complete. They're kind of And the first set I was practicing with a different tip. Didn't really like always the result. Kind of had to go back over it with this tip a couple times to get a smoother line and kind of smooth it out. So then I found on Amazon, you see these? Here we go. This is a set of, there's 50 in here. They're bigger, actually about 3 times, I think almost, 2.5 times the size of the ones I was doing. But they are very smooth. They have those nice rounded corners. You know, and they're almost like a mini card, playing card size. So I thought I would play with those a little bit as an option. I would still like to find this smaller size in a more finished type of chip, but I will eventually. Now, something else that I have to consider is that different Oghams, as you can see, they can be the same. They look the same. Yeah, why can't I find the two that I want that are the same? Of course, I had them laid out. Now I've shuffled them around. Here, for instance, these two are the same, but one is facing left and one's facing right. So on these practice ones, I just did a little doodad along the bottom to, you know, signify which way was right side up. I haven't done that on the ones I just started on these bigger tiles, because I haven't decided what I want to do. Do I want to do something along the bottom? I have also seen some, and maybe that's what I'll do, where there is like a little triangle at the bottom to symbolize that that is the tree as it grows. Can you see that? Where is it? Oh, there we go. Camera. Here we go. So that little triangle on the bottom helps to signify that that's the bottom of the Ogham. And I actually think that works pretty well, and it's really easy to do with this tip. So there we go. So let me just show you how I make one of these. I'm going to just start my straight line. Almost to the bottom. And then this one is going to be like this one. My straight line's not very straight. I am kind of sliding off to the side, but that's the beauty of handmade. Especially in a new skill like this that I have not worked on. Now, if you really wanted to, you could draw these all out lightly in pencil on these chips. before you started burning to get them lined up exactly where you wanted, to make sure they were straight, etc. Now, I've only been really playing with this wood burner for about a week. One thing I've learned, that slow, steady wins the race, rather than pressing hard or turning the heat up. Just going over it more than once or holding the pen in place, and then giving it a few minutes to reheat in between attempts also can really be beneficial. See if I can get a straight line on this one. So as you can see, I moved pretty quickly. I think you can see, yes. And so I got a much finer line rather than when I held it there. But that's okay, because I can go back over that same line and make it darker. Maybe you want a fine line. So if I wanted, see these two to match more, I'm going to have to let my tip heat up a little more so I can get a hotter burn and get more of this kind of, I call it a halo effect. I don't know if there's a real word for it, where the burn kind of chars in a shadow around the edges, but I think I've been doing too much. Sorry for the noise. And the tip of this has cooled off too much to get that effect right now. Let's see if it's given it enough time. Oh, there we go. So now a couple things to keep in mind. Do as I say, not as I do. In this instance, this surface that I'm working on is actually the side table to my sewing machine table. It is not heat resistant at all. So what would be the best thing would be to have like a cutting board, a tile. I think a wooden cutting board would probably be the best option, because it would be the most heat proof without being heat conductive at all. So I think that would be on my to-do list next. Also, I mean, I don't have any protection on my hands, so just know that tip is very, very, very hot. And so I can't, be cleaning it off with my fingertips, or taking, if I want to change this tip to one of the other tips, I have to turn it off. Best thing is to unplug it, let it completely cool, which can take 10-15 minutes. And then even then, I would probably use like a heat resistant glove or a hot pad, something like that, before I just checked to see if it was hot before I wanted to unscrew the tip. And just be mindful of your fingers as you're working, that you don't burn yourself. Probably be a very good idea to have a bowl of ice water nearby to dip your fingers in if you do happen to accidentally touch the tip. And then, of course, all the first aid that you might need. So just be very, very careful. Or get some heat-resistant gloves, or even there are heat-resistant fingertip things that you can put on that, I still wouldn't be grabbing that hot tip with those, but it would keep it from getting a bad burn just on a touch. So I'm going to, there's 25 of these to make. I'm going to experiment with them. I think these would make a nice set in a bag, in a drawstring bag to just grab from. And so if I continue to play with this idea, I may have a set or two of these available on the website in the near future as a set with a bag. You could also, if you wanted to make your own and just get these chips and don't, just make something. It doesn't have to be fancy. And I don't have one handy. You could just write on these with a Sharpie or a paint pen of some kind. And then if you have nice handwriting, you could write the name of the Ogham on the back, so you can kind of make like Ogham flashcards kind of thing. I think that's a great idea. If I were better penmanship with the wood burner, I might try that, but my wood burning skills are not quite there yet. Maybe they will be eventually. So lots of just easy, inexpensive way you could make your own set. And of course, if you don't use Ogham for divination, you could make a set with runes, or there's another symbol system. Those are the two I can think of, runes and Oghams. So it's either wood burning, paint pens, markers. Well, I hope you enjoyed that DIY and are able to use some of the hints and tricks and ideas for your own practice and making your own tools. And if you have any questions or any comments or suggestions or things that you'd like to see me try to make and show you how to make, please leave a comment in the section below, and I will try to answer it or respond with another video if it's a video request that you have. And also please subscribe and like this video so I know that there's somebody out there listening. Are you out there? Are you out there? Let me know you're out there. And so anyway, again, you can also find items, some of the items that I show here that I make on my website, spiralpathhealingarts.com. And in the shop there, you can find finished products of some of the DIYs that I show here, and other things as well. If you're not a DIYer and you just want to buy something that somebody else has already made with a lot of love and intention and good vibes and good materials, then that is the place to find those items. So thank you so much for joining me, and have a blessed day, a beautiful day. Get out there and practice your craft.